I was a B-list actor, the kind of guy who dies in the first act. Now, I've been dropped into a novel. One of those twisted, a protagonist gets reborn into a novel kind of stories, as the long-lost, true heir to $1 billion fortune. Just as the fake heir, the one who'd been living my life, was about to stage a dramatic fall down the stairs to frame me, I beat him to it. I took a running start and tumbled. The whole family rushed over. I propped myself up, my voice trembling, tears welling up in my eyes. Aiden, I know you don't like me. I know you're afraid I'll take your place as the heir. I let out a gut-wrenching sob. It was my fault. I never should have come back. I'll leave right now. Facing a barrage of questioning glares from the family, Aiden scrambled to defend himself. I didn't push him. He fell on his own. I wailed louder. Aiden, I know you hate me. You can push me, you can hit me, that's fine. But how could you lie about it and slander me like this? Wow. Aiden's face went beet red. You just delivered all my lines. What the hell am I supposed to say now? At the dinner table, Aiden put on a pained expression. Mom, Dad, I know I've been living the life that should have been Chase's for 18 years. Now that he's back, it's only right that I give him his place. I'll pack my things and leave. Mr. Davenport, the patriarch, spoke up immediately. Aiden, don't say that. Even with your brother Chase back, you'll always be a son to us in this house. His wife, Eleanor, quickly added, That's right, Aiden, honey. Don't you worry. If anyone leaves, it won't be you. You'll always be my sweet boy. My older sister, Chloe, chimed in with her support. Aiden, don't worry. You'll always be my only little brother. My other sister, Madison, shot me a cold glare. Chase, this is all your fault. You came back, and now Aiden's unhappy. Aren't you going to apologize to him? Every eye in the room turned to me. That's when it finally hit me, for real. I've been dropped into a book. Not just any book, but a trashy, angsty drama I'd been reading online. I was the main character, the real heir. In the novel's first timeline, the protagonist, me, is brought back to the family, only to be relentlessly framed and abused by the fake heir. The fake heir gets a $10,000 monthly allowance. He gets $300. Every time he's framed, the protagonist faces the family's discipline, beatings or being locked in the basement. He finally dies of starvation, forgotten in the cellar while the rest of the family goes on a European vacation with the fake heir. The protagonist is then reborn. In the second timeline, he decides he won't be a doormat. On his first day back, when the fake heir tries to frame him for the staircase push, he secretly records a video. But when the family sees it, the fake heir puts on an Oscar-worthy performance, crying about how he was just scared they wouldn't love him anymore. Their hearts soften, and they forgive him. The real heir, enraged, finally snaps. He beats the hell out of the entire family and threatens to leak the video online unless they sign papers severing their parental relationship. The family, utterly disappointed in him, agrees. Once the real heir is out from under the family's protection, the fake heir drops the act. He hires some thugs, they set a fire, and the real heir and his foster parents are burned alive. In the third timeline, the protagonist is reborn again and just runs away. The family searches the world for him, but the fake heir finds him first. And, surprise, surprise, things go horribly wrong. Again, thinking about it sent a shiver down my spine. I couldn't leave the protection of the Davenport family. Out there on my own, Aiden had money and connections. He had 100 ways to make my life a living hell. So it's an acting competition, is it? I'm a professional B-list actor. You think I'm going to lose to some two-faced amateur? I met the family's gaze, and my own tears started to fall instantly. Aiden, it's all my fault. I didn't know my coming back would make you so unhappy. My voice cracked. I'm so sorry. I'll leave right now. Sniffle. Big, fat tears rolled down my cheeks. I looked pathetic, helpless, and utterly wronged. After all, Eleanor, my mother, had carried me for 9 months. The thought that I'd been lost to them for so long, that I must have suffered, clearly tugged at her heartstrings. A wave of pity washed over her face. Just as I turned to leave, she grabbed my arm. Her hand was trembling slightly. Chase, don't go. Her voice was laced with a barely concealed urgency. Your father and I have finally found you. How can we let you leave? She squeezed my arm. Just like Aiden, you're my son, my dear boy. My older sister, Chloe, scoffed. Please, you really think playing the victim is going to make us give you a second look? My other sister, Madison, slammed her fork down. Mom, Chase is just some hick from the sticks. How can you even compare him to Aiden? Eleanor shot Madison a sharp look. Madison, no matter what, Chase is your brother. You will not speak to him that way. Madison turned her head away with a cold huff. It's true. He stinks of poverty. Just having him at the table is ruining my appetite. Aiden shot me a smug, challenging look from across the table. Mr. Davenport, my father, glanced at me with clear disapproval before bringing his fist down on the table. Not hard, but with enough force to make a point. That's enough. All of you quiet. Can't we have one peaceful meal? I didn't say another word. I knew when to quit while I was ahead. I lowered my head and focused on my food. After dinner, Aiden's eyes darted around, and he spoke up with calculated innocence. Mom, Dad, since Chase just got here and doesn't know his way around, how about I give him a tour of the house? My parents exchanged a look, their faces softening with approval. Eleanor patted Aiden's hand. That's my thoughtful boy. Go on, show your brother around, especially his room. I just had the staff finish preparing it yesterday. Aiden smiled sweetly. Don't worry, Mom. He turned to me, the challenge in his eyes now buried deep beneath a layer of manufactured warmth. Ready, brother? Here we go. The main event. I put down my fork, wiped my mouth with a napkin, and gave a faint nod. Sure. Thanks for the trouble, Aiden. I followed him up to the second floor, but he didn't lead me to my room. Instead, he started showing me the layout of the second floor, acting every bit the lord of the manor. This room was his personal walk-in closet. That one was his piano room. Ah, yes. Staking his claim. We eventually ended up at the top of the West Wing staircase. I feigned confusion. Aiden, I thought you were taking me to my room. What are we doing over here? This spot was far enough from the main hall. He dropped the act. This isn't a place you belong, he said, his voice turning icy. You should have rotted away in that backwater town. As far as the Davenport family is concerned, I am the only son, the heir to the billion-dollar Davenport Corporation. His voice grew colder. Don't think that little crying act from before is going to win you any sympathy. As long as I'm here, you will never, ever be accepted by this family. With that, he lunged backward, preparing to tumble down the stairs. But to his shock, as he met my mocking gaze, I shot my hand out and grabbed him. Then I screamed in terror. Aiden, I'm sorry. Don't push me. I yanked him back onto solid ground and threw myself down the stairs. Aiden froze, completely dumbfounded. He just stood there, staring, his mind a total blank. My blood-curdling screams echoed through the mansion, and the family came running. They arrived just in time to see me rolling down the last few steps. This body had done a lot of farm work. It could take a fall. But to make it look real, I deliberately slammed my head into the corner of the wall at the landing. A bead of blood trickled down my forehead, making the scene look absolutely ghastly. I clutched my head, curled up at the bottom of the stairs, and just kept screaming. It genuinely hurt, but seeing the ghost-white, utterly horrified look on Aiden's face, that was pure satisfaction. Chase! Eleanor's shriek pierced the air. She stumbled down the stairs in her high heels, her face pale with fright. She rushed to my side, helping me up. My baby! Chase! How did you fall like this? Tears streamed down my face. Aiden, I know you don't like me. You're afraid I'll steal your inheritance. It's my fault. I shouldn't have come back. I'll leave. I'll just leave. She snapped her head up, her eyes locking on Aiden at the top of the stairs. Aiden, what happened? Aiden finally snapped out of his trance, waving his hands frantically. It wasn't me. Mom, I didn't push him. He did it himself. He fell on purpose. I wiped away a tear, my voice choked with emotion. Aiden, I know you hate me. You can push me, you can hit me, but how could you lie about it? How could you slander me like this? Wow. Chloe crossed her arms, looking at me with disgust. Chase, cut the act. Why would Aiden push you? It's obvious you did this on purpose. Madison immediately jumped to his defense. Exactly. We've known Aiden his whole life. He's the kindest person. He would never do something like this. Wow, Chase. I didn't realize you were so vile, to intentionally throw yourself down the stairs just to frame Aiden. My father, Richard, frowned deeply, his voice sharp and severe. Chase, tell me the truth. What happened? Hearing the doubt from everyone else, even Eleanor began to hesitate. Her eyes, now filled with suspicion, scrutinized me. Chase, did you really fall on purpose to frame Aiden? Seeing this, a wave of sadness washed over me. So this is how it is. Their adopted son means more to them than their own flesh and blood. In the novel, when Aiden fell, the family didn't hesitate for a second. They called the protagonist vicious, a born monster. They locked him in the basement for 3 days to teach him a lesson. Aiden's earlier panic vanished, replaced by a smug, triumphant look. I glanced up at the security camera mounted on the ceiling. In the novel, Aiden had disabled it before the protagonist even arrived. I burst into even louder sobs. Mom, how can you not believe me? I'm your son, your own son. I clutched my chest dramatically. But it's okay. I recorded everything he said to me just now. Aiden's face went white as a sheet. Before he could lunge down the stairs to grab my phone, I hit play. Aiden's arrogant voice filled the hall. This isn't a place you belong. You should have rotted away in that backwater town. As long as I'm here, you will never, ever be accepted by this family. Then my own terrified scream. Aiden, I'm sorry. Don't push me. The hall fell into a dead silence. Everyone stared at Aiden in disbelief. Eleanor's eyes widened, a look of profound disappointment spreading across her face. She couldn't believe that her sweet, obedient Aiden could say such cruel things. Chloe and Madison were stunned. The memory of their confident accusations just moments before was a slap in the face. How could this be? Aiden would never do something like this. Clutching my bleeding forehead, I staggered to my feet and forced a smile at my mother. It was a smile more painful than any cry. Mom, do you believe me now? It wasn't me trying to frame him. It's him. He can't stand me being here. Since none of you believe me anyway, there's no point in me staying. I'll just go. Eleanor immediately wrapped her arms around me, holding me tight. The thought of all the hardships I must have endured, only to come home and be bullied like this by Aiden, filled her with an unprecedented wave of guilt. Her voice was hoarse. It's Mom's fault. I should have believed you. I'm so sorry. You're my son. You're not going anywhere. Leaning into my mother's embrace, I shot a defiant look back at Aiden. He was practically vibrating with rage, his fists clenched. That's not it. He set me up. It was a trap. Enough. Eleanor's voice rose, her glare fixed on Aiden. His head is bleeding, and you're still saying things like that? You are both my sons. How could you do this? Aiden's face was flushed with anger, his knuckles white as he gripped the banister. But when he saw the disappointed looks from his father and sisters, his heart sank. He immediately dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. Dad, Mom, Chloe, Madison, I'm sorry. I love you all so much. I was so scared that when Chase came back, you wouldn't want me anymore. That's why I did it. I'll never do it again, I promise. I'll be a good brother to him. I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm so sorry, Chase. Aiden, how could you think that? Madison rushed over to hug him, seeing his tears. Whether Chase is here or not, you'll always be my amazing little brother. Chloe's heart ached seeing him cry, too. She joined the hug. That's right, Aiden. Don't think such silly things. You're the one who's been by our side for 18 years. How could Chase possibly compare to you? Mr. Davenport stepped in to smooth things over. All right. Aiden just had a moment of confusion. Let's drop the subject. No one is to mention this again. Eleanor turned to me, stroking my hair lovingly. Chase, since he knows he was wrong, can you do this for your mother and forgive Aiden this one time? I knew there was no way this single incident would be enough for the family to completely abandon Aiden. I nodded obediently. He only did it because he loves you all so much. How could I blame him? Mom, I promise I'll get along with Aiden and help him accept me. My words had an immediate effect. Not just my mother, but my father and sisters all gave me looks of approval. Suddenly, I wasn't so repulsive to them anymore. Only Aiden shot me a look of pure, venomous hatred. Mr. Davenport held out a credit card. Chase, Aiden was in the wrong today. There's $150,000 on this card as compensation. From now on, just like Aiden, you'll receive a $10,000 monthly allowance deposited to your account. A look of genuine delight spread across my face as I took the card. Thank you, Dad. In reality, the cut on my forehead was just a scratch. But my mother insisted on taking me to the hospital for a full checkup. As my mother helped me into the back of the car, I glanced back at the mansion. From a second-floor window, Aiden was staring down at me, his face a dark mask of fury. I subtly flipped him the bird. His expression hardened, turning vicious. Once we were on the road, my mother pulled a pack of wet wipes from her purse and began gently cleaning the blood from my face. Her touch was feather-light. When her fingertips accidentally brushed against the cut, she was the one who flinched. Does it hurt? This is all my fault. I've let you suffer so much over the years. I clutched my forehead, my eyes turning red. Mom, how could it be your fault? I'm the one who wasn't here for you all these years. I'm such a terrible son. What? The guilt she just suppressed came rushing back, stronger than before. She hugged my arm tighter, secretly wiping away a tear. After a full checkup at the hospital, it turned out to be nothing serious, just as I'd expected. They put some ointment on it, and we were done. Seeing that it was still early, my mother told the driver to take us to the luxury shopping district. Anything I even glanced at, she bought. A single watch cost over $500,000. These people were truly rich. She didn't even blink. When I returned to the Davenport mansion with my new look, the entire family was stunned. My clothes were simple, but they exuded an understated luxury. Paired with the brilliant gleam of the designer watch, I carried an air of innate nobility and casual confidence. The vibe of a born-and-bred heir was on full display. Even the butler and the maids couldn't hide the surprise in their eyes. My father stroked his chin, his expression a mix of scrutiny and, more importantly, satisfaction. Good. Now you look like a son of the Davenport family. Aiden's face went pale with rage. He turned on his heel and stormed off. My sister shot me a couple of quick, conflicted glances before rushing after Aiden to comfort him, not wanting to upset him further. My mother, also concerned, hurried after them. Aiden, honey, what's wrong now? My father watched the whole scene unfold. He found Aiden's behavior increasingly petty. The boy had none of the grace or magnanimity expected of a great family's heir. He's not our blood, after all, he thought. That night, there was a knock on my door. Chase, can I come in? It was Aiden, so he hadn't given up. I opened the door with a look of indifference and let him in. He stood before me, his face a mask of pitiful, wronged innocence. Chase, I came to apologize. I was wrong today. I shouldn't have treated you like that. If you're still mad, you can hit me. With that, he raised his hand as if to slap his own face. I shot out and grabbed his wrist, my grip like iron. Cut the act. I'm not recording this time. Are you trying to frame me by hitting yourself? He wasn't fazed by being called out. He dropped the pretense. He yanked his hand free and took a step back, his eyes full of malice. Chase, do you really think you have a place in this family just because Mom is being nice to you now? Dream on. You think putting on a few nice clothes and a fancy watch makes you a real Davenport? While you were out in the sticks eating weeds, I was flying around the world on the family's private jet. What do you know about high society? I raised an eyebrow. I don't, but I do know that a fake is always a fake. No matter how you dress it up, it's still just cheap trash. Who are you calling a fake? He shrieked, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. He lunged at me, but I sidestepped him easily. He lost his balance and crashed into the desk. A crystal figurine on top fell to the floor, shattering into 1,000 pieces. Aiden looked at the shards on the floor and smiled. He bent down, picked up a jagged piece of glass, and looked at me with vicious eyes. Chase, you want to bet? If I take this and slice my own arm open, then run, cry to Mom and Dad, and say you did it, who do you think I'll believe? I stared at the piece of glass in his hand, took a step closer, and my voice dropped to an icy whisper. You can try. You think I don't dare? I grew up with Mom and Dad. Even if they're disappointed in me, they would never believe a stray they just picked up over me. Stray. I took another step closer, a mocking smile playing on my lips. I'm a Davenport by blood, confirmed by a DNA test. You? You don't even know who your real parents are. Tell me, between the two of us, who's the real stray? That broke him. Aiden completely lost it. Gripping the glass shard, he lunged at my head. Go to hell. I didn't say a word. I grabbed his wrist with one hand and clamped my other hand around his throat. In one swift motion, I shoved him toward the open window until half his body was dangling outside. Aiden choked, unable to breathe. He looked into my eyes, which were cold and filled with murderous intent. The crazed look on his face vanished, replaced by pure, unadulterated terror. Before I got dropped into the stupid novel, I was a B-list actor. I played more martial arts experts and psychotic killers than I could count. A one-on-one battle with this little punk? He was completely outmatched. A wicked smile spread across my face. I leaned in close to his ear and whispered, My dear brother, what do you think would happen if I just let go? If you fell to your death, do you think Mom and Dad would avenge you? Or would they protect me? He shook his head frantically, his eyes wide with horror, as if he were looking at the devil himself. C.H. Chase. Brother, I was wrong. Please, let me go. A ruthless glint flashed in my eyes. I kicked the nearby desk, sending it flying across the room with a tremendous crash. The noise was loud enough to get the whole family's attention. A moment later, I heard frantic footsteps pounding down the hall. I yanked Aiden back inside and, in a flash, switched our positions. The door flew open. The family burst in, their faces contorted in horror. The scene before them was this. Aiden had me halfway out the window, and in his other hand, he clutched a shard of broken glass. Blood dripped from his clenched fist onto the floor. I screamed for all I was worth. Dad! M.O.M. Chloe! Help me! Aiden's gone crazy. He's trying to kill me. Eleanor let out a terrified scream and lunged forward, pulling me back from the window. She held me tight, her body trembling uncontrollably. Aiden, are you insane? What are you doing to your brother? Mister. Davenport's face was ashen. He pointed a shaking finger at the glass in Aiden's hand, so furious he could barely speak. Aiden, you were trying to kill your brother. Disappointment was written all over Chloe's face. She rushed over, snatched the glass shard from Aiden's hand, and then looked at my pale, shaken expression, her brow furrowed. Aiden, you've gone too far this time. Even if you don't like Chase, you can't do something like this. Madison, however, just stared at me, her eyes narrowed, saying nothing. No, it wasn't me. Aiden's eyes were red with desperation. He pointed a trembling finger at me. It was him. Chase set me up. This was all his act. He was completely unhinged now, looking like he wanted to murder me on the spot. But the more frantic he became, the more it looked to the family like a guilty man's desperate defense. I shrank in my mother's arms, my face still a mask of terror. Aiden, I know you hate me, but I never wanted to take your place. I'm sorry, please don't kill me, okay? At this, I couldn't hold it in any longer, and tears began to drip down my face. Mom, I'm so scared. My mother's heart shattered. She patted my back, trying to soothe me. Her gaze, when she turned it on Aiden, was filled with deep, bitter disappointment. Enough. Aiden, do you have any idea what you just almost did? You nearly killed your brother, and you're still lying. You have disappointed me more than I can say. Mr. Davenport strode forward and, without a word, slapped Aiden hard across the face. Crack! The sharp sound echoed through the room. Everyone froze. The two sisters gasped in shock. Aiden clutched his cheek, staring at his father in disbelief. Dad, you hit me? You've never hit me in my entire life. And you hit me for this. This hick. Hick. My father's chest heaved with rage. So, the truth finally comes out, does it? He is your brother. He's a Davenport by blood. And you? Look at what you've become. Jealous, vicious, and a pathological liar. How did our family raise a son like you? The words were like needles stabbing into Aiden's heart. He staggered back, his eyes red and raw. All my life, you told me you loved me most, that I was your favorite. Now that Chase is back, you've all changed. You've all been fooled by him. Chase is nothing but a con artist. Madison rushed to her father's side. Dad, maybe there's more to this story. We watched Aiden grow up. He's so kind. He could never do something like this. Silence. Mr. Davenport roared. From this moment on, he is to be locked in the basement. He can come out when he's ready to reflect on what he's done. Madison panicked. Dad. Her father shot her a cold look. What? Do you want to join him? Madison fell silent, but not before shooting me a look of pure venom. Aiden tried to argue, but the butler and a few staff members were already there, grabbing his arms. He was dragged out, screaming it wasn't me, the whole way, his voice fading down the corridor. Chase, Madison said, her voice dripping with ice before she turned to leave. If I ever find out you framed Aiden, I will make you regret it. Chloe lingered for a moment, her expression complex before she too left. The room fell silent again, the only sound my own stifled sobs. My mother held me, her heart aching. It's okay, Chase. It's over. Don't be afraid. With Mom and Dad here, no one will ever hurt you again. My father sighed, walking over to me, his tone softening. Chase, you've been wronged. Your mother and I, we didn't raise him right. He's been with us for 18 years, after all. He was just confused. If he ever tries to hurt you again, I swear I will throw him out of this house. Tears still in my eyes, I nodded obediently. Dad, Mom, I know. He's been with you for so long. I'll accept whatever you decide. My parents looked at me with growing satisfaction. All right, Chase. Don't overthink it. Get some rest. After they left, my expression turned to ice. This family was still so biased toward the fake son. I was nearly murdered by Aiden, and this was the result? A slap on the wrist and a timeout in the basement. Pathetic. Over the next few days, while the fake heir was cooling his heels in the basement, I made my move. I systematically bought the loyalty of every servant in the mansion. For the 10 maids, I gifted each of them a $5,000 designer purse. As for the butler, Arthur, his daughter needed expensive chemotherapy treatments every month. I gave him the rest of my compensation money, $75,000. The staff's attitude toward me shifted from professional courtesy to genuine reverence. It wasn't just the gifts. They were smart. They'd seen me completely outplay the fake heir from day one, and they could see the master and mistress were starting to favor me. They knew which horse to back. My mother saw all of this, but instead of being angry, she seemed pleased. Worried I was running out of cash, she transferred another $1 million to my account. A doting mother truly spoils her child, and she was way more generous than my father. I could get used to this. So what do you do when you suddenly have money? You spend it, obviously. I took a team of bodyguards and a driver out on the town. We went on a whirlwind tour of fine dining, exclusive clubs, and high-end entertainment. At the end of it all, I bought each of them a watch worth over 10 grand. Now, whenever they see me, it's like they're seeing a walking ATM. Young master, they call me, with more warmth than they probably use for their own fathers. To my surprise, Aiden was let out of the basement after only 3 days. I knew why. Madison had been pleading with our parents nonstop, and after 18 years, their hearts were still soft for him. My father relented, but not before giving Aiden a stern lecture and warning him never to cause trouble for me again. After that, Aiden became much more subdued. Whenever he saw me, he would respectfully call me brother, but I could still see that sliver of cold hatred in his eyes. I thought he'd try something at my birthday party, but he didn't. In front of New York's high society, my father announced the truth, that I was the real Davenport heir. It caused quite a stir. The entire night, Aiden was as meek as a lamb. It wasn't until a week before I was set to leave for college that he finally made his move. Arthur, the butler, found me, his expression anxious. Young master, I just saw the second young master. He snuck into the eldest young Mrs. room and took a package. He hid it in your bedroom. I managed to get a video of it. Oh, what was in the package? My interest was piqued. He glanced around furtively before leaning in to whisper, It was the young Mrs. Lingerie. He then patted his chest reassuringly. But don't you worry, young master. I had Maria, the head maid, sneak it out of your room and hide it under his own covers. A wide grin spread across my face. I was liking Arthur more and more. Excellent work. You deserve a bonus. I immediately transferred $5,000 to his account. Patting his shoulder, I said, $4,000 is for you. Don't forget to give the other $1,000 to Maria for me. Arthur's smile nearly split his face. Young master, you can count on me. Forget $1,000. If Maria wanted it, I'd give her the whole thing. He finished with a wink that said, You know what I mean? Damn, Arthur was a player. From the look on his face, poor Maria didn't stand a chance. Sure enough, that evening, all hell broke loose. Chloe was furious, screaming that there was a thief in the house and demanding a full investigation. She'd occasionally misplaced a single item here or there and thought nothing of it, assuming a maid had lost it in the laundry. But today, she'd gotten out of the shower to find dozens of her undergarments completely gone. Nothing else of value was touched. This wasn't a simple thief. It was some kind of disgusting pervert. Madison was the first to rush out. When she heard what happened, her face paled. She, too, had been missing items recently with increasing frequency. The atmosphere in the living room turned frigid. Chloe was trembling with rage, pointing at the staff. What are you all standing there for? Tear this house apart. I want every corner searched. If word of this gets out, the Davenport family will be a laughingstock. Madison's face was white, clearly just as furious. Chloe, I just thought I was being messy, or that the maid were losing things. Now that I think about it, someone has been stealing them on purpose. Mr. Davenport sat on the sofa, his expression grim, his eyes sweeping over everyone in the room. There's no way an outsider got in. It has to be an inside job. No one is to be exempt. I want every single room in this house searched. Aiden, however, stepped forward, a hesitant look on his face. My mother, who had been pleased with Aiden's recent good behavior, took his hand. Aiden, honey, do you know something? It's all right. You can tell us. Don't be afraid. Your mother will support you. All eyes in the room turned to him. Aiden took a deep breath, as if making a momentous decision, and pointed a finger at me. I saw Chase go into Chloe's room earlier today. So it was you. Madison spun on me, her voice shrill with fury. You disgusting pervert. How could you do something so vile? You've brought nothing but shame to this family. Chloe's recently improved opinion of me evaporated in an instant. Of course, raised in some backwater town. We're your sisters, your own flesh and blood. How could you do something so disgusting? My mother looked at me, her face a mixture of shock and uncertainty. Chase, did you really do this? I remained calm, my gaze fixed on Aiden, a faint, cool smile on my lips. You say you saw me go into Chloe's room. Where's your proof? You can't just throw around an accusation like pervert without any evidence, can you? I paused, then my eyes narrowed, because funnily enough, I saw you go into her room. Are you sure you're not the one who took those things? My voice rose sharply on the last sentence. Aiden flinched at my piercing gaze, stammering, no, I didn't. Don't you dare try to pin this on me. I'm just asking. Why so nervous? Unless it really was you. All eyes shifted back to Aiden. He was so flustered his face turned red. Enough, Mr. Davenport roared. We'll find out who took them soon enough. And whoever it was, there will be no place for them in this family. Arthur, take the staff upstairs and search every room. Arthur bowed respectfully and led the team upstairs, putting on a great show of a thorough search. We sat in the living room, waiting, Chloe and Madison glared at me, as if my guilt was a foregone conclusion. Seriously, what was wrong with them? Half an hour later, Arthur came back down, holding a large black trash bag, his face grim. Madison immediately exploded, pointing at me. There's your proof. What do you have to say for yourself now, Chase? You sick pervert. We never should have brought you back. You should have been left to rot. Aiden looked at me with an expression of pure triumph, as if he could already see me being thrown out onto the street. Proof. I stood up and walked slowly over to Arthur. I tapped the black bag with my finger. Arthur, where exactly did you find this? Arthur kept his head lowered, his voice steady. Young master, these were found in the second young master's bed. What? Madison's tirade came to a screeching halt. She looked as if someone had just throttled her, her eyes bulging. What did you say? In Aiden's bed. The smile on Aiden's face froze. He shot to his feet. Impossible. You're lying. Arthur, did Chase bribe you? You found that in his room, didn't you? Second young master, Arthur said, lifting his head, his face a perfect mask of offended dignity. A dozen of us conducted the search together. With so many witnesses, how could I possibly lie? He stepped aside, and Maria, the headmaid, stepped forward and nodded respectfully. It's true. We all saw it. It was found inside the covers on the second young master's bed. Aiden looked like he was about to have a complete breakdown. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You're all ganging up on me. That's what this is. I watched him, a smirk playing on my lips. Brother, still denying it, even now? As it happens, I have some evidence of my own on my phone. I was going to keep it quiet for the family's reputation. But to clear my own name, I have no choice. As I spoke, I connected my phone to the massive television in the living room. A series of disgusting videos began to play. There was today's footage of Aiden sneaking out of Chloe's room with the package. But there was more. Videos from the past few weeks, showing him with my sister's stolen lingerie. In one, he was sniffing it. In another, he was in his room, using it to, well, the images were as perverted as they were nauseating. In the original novel, Aiden was a complete degenerate. He didn't just lust after his sisters. He was a menace at school, too. He was a chronic bully and had even forced himself on the younger sister of a local gang leader. The gangster, intimidated by the Davenport family's power, had been forced to swallow his anger and let it go. At home, spoiled by the family, Aiden was a tyrant, frequently abusing the staff and bodyguards whenever he was in a bad mood. All of these videos had been secretly filmed by the maids and sent to me. Of course, I compensated them handsomely, sending them each a $2,000 bonus for their trouble. Seeing the videos, Aiden lost his mind. He lunged at the screen to shut it off, but was tackled and pinned to the floor by the bodyguards Arthur had called in. It's not me. It's all fake. Chase framed me. Dad, Mom, you have to believe me. But no one was listening anymore. The evidence was found in his room. And when they remembered him pushing me down the stairs and then nearly killing me at the window, they finally saw Aiden for who he truly was. Chloe was the first to snap. She grabbed a porcelain teacup from the table and hurled it at Aiden. It grazed his cheek and shattered against the wall. You animal! I'll kill you! She shrieked, lunging at him and tearing at his hair. Aiden screamed and tried to get away, but my father pulled her off him. Enough, mister. Davenport's eyes were practically shooting flames. He could not believe that the boy he had raised for 18 years was this thing. If he let him stay, who knew what would happen to his precious daughters? He pointed a trembling finger at Aiden. You monster. Get out of my house. From this day forward, get out. I, Richard Davenport, have no son like you. Eleanor collapsed on the sofa, her face ashen, muttering over and over. What have we done? What have we done? Madison buried her face in her hands and started to sob. Of everyone in the family, she had been closest to Aiden. To find out that the brother she had doted on for 18 years was a sick, twisted pervert was too much to bear. No matter how much Aiden pleaded or explained, his fate was sealed. He was being kicked out. As the bodyguards dragged him away, he locked his eyes on me. Chase, this is all your fault. Why did you have to come back? I'm the only son of this family. Chase, I hope you die a horrible death. I'll get you for this. You just wait. Perfect. That very day, I had a message delivered to that gang leader, Rico, letting him know that Aiden Davenport had been disowned. That night, a bodyguard reported that Rico's crew had grabbed Aiden and taken him to an abandoned construction site. A show this good? I wasn't about to miss it. I took a dozen bodyguards and drove over. These guys were professionals. Each one could easily take down 3 or 4 street thugs. When we arrived, about 20 guys with lead pipes and baseball bats surrounded our cars. A bald man came running out, yelling at them. What the hell are you morons doing? Back off. This is Chase Davenport. Show the man some respect. I looked at him with amusement. Oh, you know who I am. The bald man, Rico, bowed and scraped. Mr. Davenport, your family is the richest in New York. The news about you being the real heir was all over Twitter after your birthday party. I recognized you right away. I nodded, cutting to the chase. I hear you have my brother. Take me to him. Rico's face paled. Mr. Davenport, there must be some misunderstanding. Even if you gave me 100 guts, I would never dare touch a member of the Davenport family. My expression darkened. Rico, don't play dumb with me. I'm the one who had him kicked out. I'm the one who sent you the tip. Is this how you repay me? Rico immediately started bowing and apologizing again, then quickly led us inside. It had only been half a day, but Aiden was barely recognizable. There wasn't an inch of his skin that wasn't bruised or broken. Both of his legs were clearly broken, and he was lying on the concrete floor like a dog. When he saw me, a flicker of light returned to his dull eyes. He started crawling toward me, his voice a weak, desperate plea. Chase, brother, I was wrong. Please, just put me out of my misery. I can't take it anymore. Not a chance. Sometimes, living is a far worse punishment than death, especially for someone like Aiden, who was now completely broken. My face went cold. I turned to Rico and roared, Rico, you've got a lot of nerve. Do you have any idea that Aiden is my most beloved brother? I'm telling you, if my brother dies, you're going down with him. Rico was no fool. His eyes darted around, and he immediately understood. He put on a show of sincere repentance. Mr. Davenport, I was wrong. I'll never do it again. I will personally guarantee that your brother lives a long and healthy life. That's more like it. Aiden, hearing this, coughed up a mouthful of blood and stared at me with eyes full of pure, undiluted hatred. I was very satisfied with Rico's performance. Without giving the dog on the floor another glance, I left with my entourage. After I graduated from college, it wasn't long before my father passed away. I successfully inherited the Davenport family's multi-billion-dollar fortune. Every now and then, when I'm passing by the overpass downtown, I see Aiden lying on a piece of cardboard, begging for change. He is my brother, after all. I help when I can. Every time, I toss a dollar bill his way. But he's so ungrateful. Every time, he completely loses his mind. It really breaks my heart. What am I supposed to do with a brother like this? Taking suggestions. It's urgent. He's flipping out again. And, scene.